In 2019, I reported my mom as a missing person. I got a strange text whenever I was at work, and I just felt like it wasn't her. I tried calling her work, and she was a no-call, no-show. So I went to her house. At her house, I realized things were really off. I tried getting in the front door, and only one lock was locked versus the 3 that I know she always locked. Her alarm system was off, and I had the officer go inside to search first because I didn't know what we were going to find. He didn't seem like anything was wrong with the house, so I went in and everything was fine except for her bedroom. Her bed was pushed almost completely up to the dresser, enough that she couldn't open up the drawers. The rug was completely askew and there were scuff marks on her white walls. Her closet door was off the hinges, and lastly, I found her glasses behind her door. This was completely devastating to me. I remember not being able to breathe. I remember just being through like the worst trauma you could ever think of in your life. You love somebody and you don't know where they are. The fact that her glasses were there, I knew wherever she was, she couldn't see. I had been questioned and detained as a suspect in the police department, and I felt like they just weren't listening to me. And I remember just sitting in the interrogation room alone. They just left me there alone for hours and just praying to God, like, get me out of here, help me find my mom, like, you have to work all this out for your good. They eventually came back in and asked me about a man that I am choosing not to name. We worked together with the police over the next 2.5 years. The man was arrested for a different charge right away as my mom was missing, and he refused to tell us where she was, even though they found her debit card with him and all the cell phones pinged, the license plate readers, everything matched up. A Ring camera across the street caught him at her house that morning on video, and he still refused to tell us where she was. I remember right before COVID, everything was so pressured for me to make a deal with him so that he would get he wanted 5 years to tell us where her body is, and him just serve 5 years, which was ridiculous. And I just remember leaving it in God's hands, Lord, if you don't want a deal to be made, it will not be made. And then the world shut down. And as devastating of a time that was in everyone's life, it was really helpful because we were able to find my mom's body on our own. On April 19th, 2020, a police officer he was just surveilling a abandoned dump, and he saw a shoe sticking out of a trash bag. My mom's body was thrown away and left as trash for almost a year. And as devastating as that was, having a police officer find my mom against all odds was a miracle. I was finally able to lay her to rest and to get on with the conviction. We now had a body and we could move forward with a trial. As time passed, it was about 2 years before we were about to go to trial when on April Fool's Day 2022, I was called and told that they made a deal. The district attorney's office made a deal for 17 to 40, and I was to show up the next day for my victim impact statement. The man that killed my mom, he befriended us after my dad died. He helped us with a lot of stuff, but he had a lot of issues, and my mom never should have trusted him. Not to say that this is her fault at all. I was very young and unaware of his past, and I just wish I would have known to protect her. I remember praying before a deal was even made that whatever happens is because what God wants to happen, and that if a deal was made, I would feel more comfortable sharing my story in hopes of helping others so that he can't go back and try to get a retrial and get off any shorter. So I do believe that this is the way that God intended and the way that God has wanted me to help others.